All right, folks, welcome back to our fifth and final match of tonight's quintuple header here on GG Speedruns. This is the Super Smash TV 7th Annual Easy Percent Tournament alongside Fearonburgundy. I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23, and we have another exciting matchup, another elimination showdown between Gruntiatus and TheRealZ3ro. Now, Burgundy, one thing I want to point out to you is that if you look at the leaderboard on speedrun.com, it does look like that Gruntiatus has the better PB. However, I've gotten word that TheRealZ3ro did post a 606, which would put him in 33rd place on the leaderboard. So we would actually have a 10-second advantage on Gruntiatus in terms of PBs. But you look at these times on paper, to me, again, this could be anybody's match.
Oh, certainly. I mean, when you have seeds that are this close, it pretty much screams that we're going to have an even match and that we're going to go more than just the 3 sweep here. We're not going to get a sweep, right, game?
I sure hope not. These runners, and I'm sure the people here in the studio audience here on GG Speedrunners, and of course us commentators, want to see this go the distance here again. We had arguably the best match of the tournament so far. Earlier, I mean, you just saw the fireworks between Skunky and RNGesus in that third match, coming down to just 3 seconds in game number 5. I want to see something like this here, and I'll tell you what, this is a good promising opener here. You know, we were talking about a half a second lead for TheRealZ3ro against Gruntiatus going into collect power-ups, so it's a promising start. Let's see if it stays that way.
Yep, we're hoping that it keeps even Steven here, that RNG, well, I mean, there's not really a favorite or underdog, so you would hope that the RNG kind of stays the same here. We have a nuke on Zero's side, and we have an orb on Gruntiatus' side, but here's rockets for TheRealZ3ro. So, game, just keep it even, will you?
That's what we'd like to see here. I mean, the weapon quality has favored TheRealZ3ro up to this point. There's a nuke. Spreader should help Gruntiatus finish up the room, and it does. So it's a 121. TheRealZ3ro, though, is right there with a 124.5. I'd say a 3.5 second lead for Gruntiatus going into Eat My Shrapnel. 18 of the Mr. Shrapnels that you have to take out, but a maximum of 4 can be on the screen at any given point. TheRealZ3ro does pick off the nucleus there, but he needs to see that orb. I don't blame TheRealZ3ro for picking up that orb. He had no weapons, and that room was getting overwhelmed. Better to take the time penalty than a bigger one.
Yep, and in getting the nuke, it almost sets up or manipulates the orb to drop here. At least you'd love to think that it's a manipulation, even though it probably isn't. But
let's just call it that. Why the heck
we'll
not?
call it that. Why the heck not?
All right. So Gruntiatus finishing up the room with a 204. TheRealZ3ro will be in the 210 range approximately. Yep, 210. So it's a 6-second gap going into total carnage. But the weapon drops are going to be key here. A nuke for Gruntiatus in a bad spot and a foot for TheRealZ3ro. Nothing to write home about for either runners. But here's Vitamin R for Gruntiatus. Another nuke for TheRealZ3ro in a good spot. We'll see if he decides to take it, and he won't.
Leaving it behind, just wants to stay in the center and try to clear as many of these foot soldiers as possible. Just trying to keep those firing lanes open for as long as possible. Just deviates for a moment to get that spreader to get more of a range, but otherwise, yeah, just keep it to the center.
Another player really getting another Vitamin R now for Gruntiatus. He's had a little bit better quality weapon drops, but the big question is who has the better firing lanes between these two? Because TheRealZ3ro's done a good job with what he's been given, and it's really hard to say. More rockets for Gruntiatus. This will finish up the room, and TheRealZ3ro lost his orb late, and that's too bad because he actually had a better room than Gruntiatus. He cut the gap to 3 seconds, but without that orb, Gruntiatus could really take a lead if he has a nice tank trouble.
Yeah, time will certainly tell here, but yeah, that orb is crucial, and it is on Grunt's side, at least for the moment, but we know tank trouble can be tumultuous at absolute best.
I mean, having rockets to start the room was definitely going to help because now both gunners are out. The nuke is going to help TheRealZ3ro get rid of the first gunner, and he has no orb. He lost it very late. He's going to get a replacement, though. Now, can he keep the orb healthy? He does get both gunners out, but oh, that was too dangerous. He was way too close to that tank, and he is picked off easily. Now, Gruntiatus losing his orb, but he does have rockets.
There's a sight for sore eyes. There's the Razor Shield. That allows for a little bit of a breather and more rockets for the TheRealZ3ro.
Now, the weapon quality could be key to determine who comes out of this room first. It is still going to be Gruntiatus, but that lead I don't think is going to be as big as you think. I mean, look at this. It's a 430 versus a 434, roughly 4-second lead, no orb, anybody's game. TheRealZ3ro has a full clip of spread. If that first drops into vulnerability, he's going to be celebrating. But look at this. Gruntiatus getting a prime spreader drop.
Nope, it ends up being a lobber on the feet. Does clear out the gunners in front, and now gets a second set of lobbers and is just trying to chain those in here.
I don't think it's a terrible decision to change up to lobbers, especially if you don't feel comfortable doing manuals there. That looks like the spreader. No, I couldn't tell. Oh, he took the Talia up, but he gets a foot.
It wasn't really much of a choice. The lobbers showed up on the feet. Oh, and another empty drop. Come on, game.
Wow. There's a spreader for Gruntiatus. Will he get to it? Yes, he gets out of the way for him. Gruntiatus poised. You know, if he gets another spreader, you know, he could PB here. Final form, if he gets transfer damage, here's the lobbers. Sub 6 on the table for Gruntiatus. He gets it. A PB for Gruntiatus.
Simply amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gruntiatus becomes the 31st member of the Sub 6 Club, unofficially a 555, and he's got a big smile on his face. Well done for Gruntiatus. What a run.
You love to see it, an ear-to-ear, bleep-eating grin for a fantastic job there with a 555 unofficially. Either way, that is a sub 6, that is a PB, and you love to see it. And the PB hype is real.
Well, that's not just a PB. That's a massive PB. That's a 21 or 22 second PB, depending on what it cuts into officially. It's either going to be a 555 or a 554. Regardless, that's going to put him in 29th place on the leaderboard. So that's going to move him up 10 spots, Bergs.
Pretty doggone good.
Wow. That is definitely going to be a top 10 moment of this tournament. There is no doubt in my mind, Burgundy.
I mean, there's a lot of tournament left, so there's only a slight doubt in my mind, but it's definitely up there for now, and the onus is on the rest of the people in the field to try to best that and knock it out of that top 10.
Oh, most certainly. TheRealZ3ro finishes up his run with a 7-11. He's not going to be too terribly happy about that run, but when your opponent gets a PB, there really isn't much you can do, especially if that PB is lower than your PB. TheRealZ3ro just got a PB of a 606, and Gruntiatus just broke it by 11 seconds. I mean, there's not really much you could do about that.
When they have that good of a PB, you just have to grin and bear it and just move on to race number 2 and do your best to try to even it up.
Oh, no question about it, Burgundy. I mean, the big question is, you know, I've alluded to this many, many times in Super Smash TV tournament history, and that's, will Gruntiatus have what I like to call the letdown game? You know, bowlers have it when they have either a 300 or a close to a 300 game, then they don't even bowl 200. And we've seen it happen a lot in Super Smash TV tournament play as well. You have a runner that gets a nice big PB, and then the next run, it just absolutely lay an egg, whether they just don't play as good or the RNG just simply doesn't cooperate. Will that happen, or is Gruntiatus going to ride the tide to a 2-0 lead in this match? Time will tell.
It most certainly will. And yeah, you have to figure, I mean, Prince Leaf noting it in chat here, it just, yeah, as much as there's excitement for that sub 6 PB, it's a matter of settling down, and yeah, you still have 2 more to win here. You can't just kind of rest on your laurels and go, all right, I did the thing. No, you didn't do the thing yet. You did a good thing, but it's not the thing that you need to do to advance here.
Exactly, and no time to relax and celebrate. It's game number 2 here between Gruntiatus and TheRealZ3ro. Let's see if TheRealZ3ro can equalize or if Gruntiatus can take a commanding 2-0 lead. Let's go. And Bryce Alf, one of our tournament administrators, pointing out in chat, this is the second time in Super Smash TV tournament history that someone got their first sub-6 in a tournament race. So that is some rarefied air we're seeing here tonight. Gruntiatus with the hole shot with a 40. TheRealZ3ro about a little over a second back with a 41. Razor Shield for Gruntiatus, a invulnerability for TheRealZ3ro, and then a spreader for Gruntiatus, but an orb, second drop orb for TheRealZ3ro, and he needs to see the RNG flow his way. Rockets though for Gruntiatus.
Yeah, the Malk is flowing on Grunt's side despite the lack of an orb, and it's keeping him in this at least for now, but there's still a lot of Arena 1 left to be played. It's pretty much even here, about a 1.5 lead for Gruntiatus, but that orb is going to come into play here. What is coming into play?
That's
son of a monkey. There we go.
Yep,
page out of Fred book.
Coughlin. Yep, absolutely. The Zelda randomizer, Mario Brothers 3 randomizer creator himself does get a replacement orb. So, that could have been ugly. That Turmell was coming for him, but TheRealZ3ro keeps that orb nice and healthy. Now he's got that purple shirt. That purple shirt was all over that orb there, Bergs. Man, TheRealZ3ro's got to be careful.
Yeah, you don't want to get too arrogant here in this point, or a little too lackadaisical something or another here. But yeah, they're both in total carnage, pretty close to one another, and this is where things are going to... Oh, boy.
I don't know what happened there on Gruntiatus' side, but he picked up a Razor Shield. He leafed it. That's what happened. He hit the mine. But he does get an orb, so that could help him out.
The lead was Gruntiatus's, and now it's mine.
Most certainly
Something
is
like
indeed.
That.
Yep. Well, TheRealZ3ro, as long as he can keep the orb nice and healthy, keep the fire. Oh, he got overwhelmed. Those purple shirts ganged up on him in a hurry. He had no chance of escaping that.
For that reason, I don't think we'll call it commentator's curse, just to, keep your reputation intact.
Well, you can call it a commentator's curse if you want. It's all going to be the same on the box score. Now, TheRealZ3ro is going to come out of here first with the 307, but he is without an orb. He does have a third of a clip of rockets, which could be enough to take out the gunners on the wall. But Gruntiatus is at 316, so he's about 10 seconds back. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just felt the need to bust orbs there a little bit.
Oh, definitely here. All right, so TheRealZ3ro first into tank trouble. Again, has about a third of clip left. That was definitely enough to take out both of the gunners. That's the hard part. Now the really hard part, trying to get some drops, to keep the time going good. Nuke is a good start there for Grunt. First gunner is out. A nuke for TheRealZ3ro to give him a little bit of a breather. There's what you want to see when you don't have the orb. That vitamin R, if he's got his firing lanes good, that's going to help him keep that lead. Second gunner still on the wall for Gruntiatus. He's trying to get back into the middle here. He's ignoring it. I've seen some runners do this before, and it works to varying degrees of success, but look at this. Can he get to this Razor Shield? Not quite. He loses his orb.
TheRealZ3ro, meanwhile, pulling some aggressiveness here, does get an orb fairly late into the room.
Yeah, and you know what? He's going to get a ballbuster opportunity, and he's going to keep that lead. It's going to grow as well. It's a 430 for TheRealZ3ro. Another late orb, this one for Gruntiatus. And right now, it's kind of looking like it's coming to fruition. That letdown game is definitely happening on Gruntiatus' side. Even if he wins, to me, this is still a letdown game. He is going to be 19 seconds back with a 449.
Yeah, I haven't seen a letdown potentially like this since Game 3 and 4 of this past World Series, where the Phillies won 7-0 in Game 3 and then got no hit the next night.
Oh, definitely there, but we don't talk about that World Series. Let's just move on here. TheRealZ3ro has got both of the arms popped up. He had a good manual on that spreader there, but look at this. This spreader right here could be the dagger to equalize this match here. If he gets another spreader, we could see a sub-6. Invulnerability!
Oh, wow. Oh, an invulnerability practically on the feet.
Come on, get a drop. Give him something. Give him a lobber. All right, Rockets is something. He needs another drop, I think. The lobber should do it, but Mutoid Man, oh, he's got it. That's it! Another sub-6!
Wow!
Are you kidding me, Burgundy? Both runners coming in had never gotten a sub-6, and now both runners are gonna get a sub-6 in tournament play. 558.
This is unflippin' believable.
TheRealZ3ro becomes the 32nd member of the Sub-6 Club. Both of them getting it in this elimination match. I cannot believe it. Or as Jack Buck would say in the 1988 World Series, I don't believe what I just saw.
Yeah, that is just phenomenal. We have seen it on both ends here. We have seen the absolute best from both of the runners here on respective races, and we still have potentially 3 more to go.
My goodness gracious. Yeah, this is definitely no question of it about it. This is top 10 material because they both got the sub-6 in back-to-back games. And yeah, Gruntiatus definitely had the letdown. He's not even going to get a sub-7 out of this one.
Also, why don't we talk about that World Series? I mean, I know that the Phillies lost and that they're my team, but I mean that game. I attended Game 3 in person, so that was probably one of the best baseball games that I've been in attendance to in person. Bar none, just because of well, there's so many factors to it. We can talk more about that off air, but I just didn't know why we don't talk about that World. Is it because Houston won? Is that
it might have something to do with Houston winning, but regardless, let's like I said, let's not spoil the celebration. Let's celebrate the fact that we have another TheRealZ3ro. The 32nd member will be in 32nd place on the leaderboard. It's with what appears to be a 5:58. Again, we'll get official timing on that, once, they submit their runs to speedrun.com. But my goodness gracious, I've been doing commentary the entire way. This is the 7th year that I've done Super Smash TV tournament commentary. I think this is one of the greatest moments that I have ever seen in tournament history that we're witnessing right here.
This is one of those things you expect the unexpected, and the unexpected has certainly delivered here. And we are even at 1 apiece, and we have potentially three more of these races. Who knows what the heck's going to happen?
Well, now you got to ask yourself this question. Is TheRealZ3ro going to have the letdown of his own in game number 3? Because, Gruntiatus, I don't think it's going to get much worse for him. That second game, nothing went right for him in game number 2. You got to believe it's going to get better for him. TheRealZ3ro, I mean, he's on top of the world right now. We'll see what happens to him in game number 3. And I totally agree with Bryce. Those two moments from this match, you're going to see it in one shining moment. You're going to see it in that montage. I have no doubt in my mind.
And not the type that I'll be singing like Charles Barkley at some point.
I was just thinking about that. Now that we're talking about one shining moment, how we have like the top 10 like worst moments, like boneheaded players or whatever. To start the montage, we should have the Barkley one shining moment the whole time. Don't you think?
I mean, I will be more than happy for not. Yeah, Princely, if you missed another sub-6 finish, as TheRealZ3ro this time gets into the sub-6 club.
All right, here we go. Boy, oh boy, this has been an exciting match here. So we're guaranteed to at least see 4 games here in the final match of tonight's Super Smash TV tournament here on GG Speedruns. And boy, oh boy, this has been exciting here. What's going to happen in game number 3? Let's go.
Right now, they both have their Razor Shield manips to start here, and we have a nuke on TheRealZ3ro side. Going to leave that behind. Usually want to see that around the 32-second mark, so of course they both get them early. And neither are going to utilize them, but we have a whole shot here for TheRealZ3ro by about a second or so, a second and a half maybe.
Yeah, about a second and a half, a high 39 versus a low 41 for Gruntiatus here. So let's see if TheRealZ3ro can keep this up here, get some good drops here and collect power-ups. Starts with rockets. Hey, that's a good drop. Grenades on the feet for Gruntiatus.
Back-to-back grenades, and that is not what you want to see. Oh, and a foot as well.
He's fishing.
Yeah, use the grenades a little bit quicker, I suppose.
And now TheRealZ3ro is going to get some grenades of his own. He's looking for that orb. Gets a foot instead. And gets a spreader. No orb for either player yet. So very interesting to see how this is going to play out here, as TheRealZ3ro will finish the room first with a 126. Gruntiatus just getting nothing here in collect power-ups, and he's going to be 133, 7 seconds back. But the good news for him, oh, that swirl, TheRealZ3ro, how did he not take a death there?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine.
That's a semi-star win. It's not a complete star win because, you know, the swirl was dying, but how he didn't take a death there, that's crazy. There's the first orb. It goes to Gruntiatus, so he may have a chance here to try and get back into this game.
No, and more vitamin R. There's the Razor Shield for both.
Yep, you like to see that.
Ignores the spreader because it'll be walled out thanks to the... thanks to that Razor Shield.
And Gruntiatus did gain about a second and a half. 218 plays 212. So Gruntiatus is going to take this lead very quickly if we don't see an orb soon on TheRealZ3ro's side. But there it is. He needed it.
Getting it is one thing. Keeping it is another.
And he's trying to get control of that middle, but he needs some weapons to help give him a little bit of a breather here. That Razor Shield's definitely going to help Bergs.
Most certainly. Now it's just a matter of getting those firing lanes in and trying to get as many deaths per second as possible on these foot soldiers.
No question about it here. So Gruntiatus has been getting solid weapons to keep him afloat. Spreaders, another spreader there for Gruntiatus, but TheRealZ3ro with that Razor Shield, keeping control of the middle, gets a key. A nuke in a bad spot. Gruntiatus is going to... Wow, I'm actually shocked about that move. I thought he was going to ignore it. It was close to the end of the room. I could see why he wanted to do it. He was trying to milk it for what it's worth. They're dead even going into the bonus room, so this is as good a time as any to say it. Oh, Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
I'm already hungry, and you're just adding to it with more product placement.
I know, right? They are practically dead even going to the bonus room, but TheRealZ3ro with the advantage of having that orb. No weapon to take with him. He'd like to get like a rocket to start this room. Gets a spreader for Gruntiatus.
Trying to take out the gunners, and is able to do so on Grunt's side. Meanwhile, TheRealZ3ro... Oh!
What got him? Was that a soldier? Was that a shrapnel?
That was a shrapnel.
Oh, that's unfortunate, because he did a really good job dancing around to try to keep that orb healthy, and it just gets picked off ever so slightly by that shrapnel. Does get a replacement orb, though. Watch out. Oh, able to take it down before the shrapnel went off. Didn't want lightning to strike twice there, that is for sure. And Gruntiatus having a rough time here in tank trouble. Another for TheRealZ3ro, and is able to avoid that tank. Get some rockets. That's a sight for sore eyes. This could help him clear out the rest of this room here. Another tank gets rid of it with the last of his rockets. And yeah, he's definitely going to have the lead coming out of this room. No question about it here. Just has to take out a couple of the Mr. Shrapnels, and again, I'd say he's probably having a letdown game too. You know, a 450 entry versus a 453. But unlike the last game, this game right now is anybody's game. I mean, it's 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's essentially a coin flip here. We've got the lobbers for both, so we'll see how this goes.
Did RealZ3ro just get a swinging ball buster?
He most certainly did.
What in the world was that? That is one of the best ball busters I've ever seen, Burgundy. How in the world did he do that?
Just aggressiveness and precision timing. Oh, RealZ3ro trying to get that lobber, but Mutoid becomes Mutoid Mother Hen.
He gets the spreader, though, so
there's the
RealZ3ro.
spreader.
Yeah, he does get the spreader, so he's going to extend that lead on Gruntiatus. Does get run over. He does get the grenades in time. Very nicely done. As the rib cage is exposed, gets an aqua spreader now, so he's going to go just play it safe. Going to try and get some. He's got a couple shots in there. Doing a good job with that spreader here, but does run out. So it's about a 4 and change lead right now for RealZ3ro. Grenades, though, robbers for Gruntiatus. As the head pops off now for RealZ3ro, the lead is a little bit over a form. Better weapon right now for Gruntiatus. RealZ3ro getting a lot of grenades here, which is enabling Gruntiatus to try to cut in that lead, but that death and no drop after that. A spreader on the feet. But here's lobbers now for RealZ3ro. They are now on the same form. Gruntiatus catching up, but final form now for RealZ3ro. Gruntiatus is running out of time, Bergs.
Yep, RealZ3ro just going to grab that next set of lobbers here, try to chain them up. Now gets the spreaders, hoping that'll be enough, and it is enough.
Yes, it is enough, and not as big of a letdown as Gruntiatus had after his sub-6. I mean, it's still going to be a sub-7 for RealZ3ro. Not a great time, but as Brysolf would always say, Bergs, survive and advance. A 655 for RealZ3ro, and he is one game away from moving on to the next round of the second chance bracket, as Gruntiatus will finish at about a 717-ish.
Yep. And as of note, the loser of this head-to-head matchup here between Gruntiatus and the RealZ3ro will be eliminated. The winner will take on the 14th seed in Lucha Gym.
Oh, and Lucha Gym also a member of that sub-6 club. In fact, Lucha Gym at 15th place right now with a 539 PB. So yeah, whoever wins is definitely gonna have their hands full, but anything is possible. But right now, it is Gruntiatus whose back is against the wall. After that sub-6 in his opening round, he's had a couple of runs that have been above 7 minutes, and he's going to have to step up his game or his tournament is going to be over.
So, fun fact, did you know that Lucha Gym knocked me out of the tournament 2 years ago?
I probably had forgotten 2 years ago. Yeah, that was 2021. How
yeah,
it all blends in.
Tournament. The only one that I competed in.
That's your fun fact of the night here on GG Speedruns. There's a channel point prediction for those of you who want to make a wager with your channel points on who is going to take game number 3. Will that was the channel point prediction. That was your winner. But now we have a new channel point prediction. Do we get a game number 5? Yes or no? Make your predictions with your channel points and see if you can determine, are you going to be Lostradamus? See what I did there?
Yeah, Lostradamus. Yes, I don't know.
All right, here we go. You can't.
I was like, all right, I can't no sell it, but I also didn't know how to respond to it, so
right.
It just made me sound like even more of a donkey.
Yep. And Bryce also said that cards has been fired. Well, it was a good run, you guys. Anyways, back to the game at hand. We have game number 4 here. Gruntiatus must win this to stay alive in the tournament and force a deciding game number 5. It is going to be RealZ3ro with the whole shot by roughly a second. Nice times, though, for both. Sub 40 for both. So these are good starting times for our runners.
Does that mean I take the lead for the 8th annual okay, we're gonna
I don't know.
Hey, look at this. We're in collect power-ups.
And we like to have fun here in the Super Smash TV commentators booth. And Gruntiatus gets the first orb. Now he has to keep it nice and healthy. Try to establish a lead if he possibly can and hope that TheRealZ3ro just doesn't get that orb drop. But he's got to focus on his game. But as I say that, TheRealZ3ro gets an orb on the feet. We are level pegging once again, Burgundy. Equal opportunity drops, and it's a 123 and a 124. It's that same 1 second lead for TheRealZ3ro, so they had an even collect power-ups.
Dare I say a negligible difference, as well, now Grunt doesn't have the orb anymore here, so this is where TheRealZ3ro could potentially take the lead here.
Yeah, he could lock this up. Another early mistake here for Gruntiatus. And that's not when you want to be dropping the orb in Eat My Shrapnel, because you want to make sure that there's not 4 Mr. Shrapnels on the screen at the same time. Rockets will help him, though, but he needs to see a replacement orb or he could be in dire straits. 206 plays 207, so he kept the deficit at 1 second, but that deficit is going to widen tremendously if he doesn't see an orb and that drop, the drops dry up. He's fishing for an orb, he ain't getting it. But TheRealZ3ro loses his orb.
So it's all even footing at the moment here. Now it's just a matter of the drops here in Total Carnage.
All right, a Razor Shield now for Gruntiatus. TheRealZ3ro with a nuke, giving him a little bit of a breather here, but neither player finding a replacement orb here in Total Carnage. Gruntiatus, though, gonna get the Vitamin R. Didn't even have to burn his. Whoa, that purple shirt almost clubbed him down there. That was a close call there on Gruntiatus' side. A key for TheRealZ3ro.
No Pleasure Dome here in Arena 1, that is for sure.
Not a chance. A Razor Shield now for TheRealZ3ro, following that up with the Vitamin R. Will he get the Holy Trinity and get an orb to complete it? He does! Can you believe that?
Wow.
And Gruntiatus will have the lead with the 317, but only barely. It's a 320 for TheRealZ3ro, but more importantly, he's got the orb. However, Gruntiatus does have a weapon to take with him into tank trouble.
This is essentially still an even game here.
And we got a hype train going on here in the chat here on GG Speedruns. So thank you very much for your support to the channel. We really do appreciate it. Yeah, it's rockets for Gruntiatus and an invulnerability so he can assure himself that both gunners are off the wall. Then gets a Razor Shield. Now let's see if he can get an orb to replace that. So far he does not. TheRealZ3ro still has the orb intact. Gruntiatus needs some weapons, though, to keep this going, or TheRealZ3ro is going to pull away with a lead here. Nice nuke there for TheRealZ3ro, giving himself a little bit of a breather here. Try to take control of the middle for a little bit. A spreader for Gruntiatus, but losing the orb is TheRealZ3ro before he can get to that Razor Shield. That's unfortunate, Burst. If he would have gotten that Razor Shield, and then he takes a death to boot as well, he could have gotten a massive lead on Gruntiatus. Instead, it's anybody's guess who has the lead at this point.
Yeah, getting sniped there by that tank, and now it's kind of starting from scratch. And grenades not what you want to see here, and Grunt has the lead heading into Mutoid Man.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're on Team Gruntiatus. He had a 438 TheRealZ3ro with a 446 and 8-second lead, a little bit more than 1 empty drop, and is able to take down the gunners up front, starting with rockets. There's more rockets. Lobber, a good start, but then gets picked off. So TheRealZ3ro having some problems here in game number 4, and this could open the door for Gruntiatus, but an empty drop here. I mean, he has not popped an arm yet. Lobbers, back-to-back lobbers now. So right now the weapons favoring TheRealZ3ro at this point. First arm has not popped off yet for TheRealZ3ro. It should be shortly. No. Grenades for both runners now, and Gruntiatus gets, no, he didn't get Vibrate. I thought he took a death there, but no, I was mistaken. So vulnerability for Gruntiatus. Boy, this is an ugly, but it's a vulnerability. Wow. How about that?
A spreader to follow, takes the death, gets a foot after the fact, but is able to get a glitch toid in the process here.
he needs a weapon to maintain that lead. Lobber now for TheRealZ3ro. And yeah, right now, Gruntiatus in a good position to send us to a game number 5. He's ahead by more than a form. There's another spreader. This could do it for Gruntiatus here.
Grabs it in fantastic time. Gets right in the spot here.
Perfect.
Gets a good amount of transfer damage. Hits the lobber.
Very nice.
And
This should be a win. But then gets picked
gets
off.
sniped.
Not
Zap.
over yet, but this lobber should do it. 2 more shots ought to do it for Gruntiatus, and he has forced a game number 5. What a way to get to a game number 5. You know, we started with 2 sub-6s, and then the other runs, you know, have not, you know, been glamorous, but it's been enough for both of these runners to get respective wins, you know, just under a sub-7 for both cases here. And Gruntiatus digs deep, gets some amazing drops, and has forced a decider. We go to a 5th Burgundy. You love to see it.
Most certainly. I did say with these seeds being close that this is what you were hoping for, and you certainly got it, although in very dubious fashion thus far. And wow, we've seen just a little bit of everything here. We've seen awful play, we've seen fantastic play, we've seen everything in between, and now one of these 2 runners' tournament lives comes down to a deciding game number 5.
And yeah, you're absolutely right. I knew this was going to be close, but yeah, the way we got to a game number 5, I don't think anybody would have saw this coming. Not a chance.
Not at all. That's for sure. Gotta love some of the behind the scenes stuff here.
And now it is time for the final channel point prediction of the night here on GG Speedruns, as this is our very last game of the quintuple header here on GG Speedruns. We've had a lot of excitement here. We had a very exciting match in our third one between RNGesus and Skunky, and now another slobber knocker, as Brysolf would say, between Gruntiatus and TheRealZ3ro. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, by God, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, Bry may say slobber knocker, but you know, shout outs to former WWE and now AEW commentator Jim Ross, who is the originator of the slobber knocker commentating.
You know, we're due to have a close game. You know, none of this has been, you know, this has been a great match. Don't get me wrong, but none of these games have been close. I'm going to say 15 seconds or less, and I'm going to say, I think it's going to happen again. I think Gruntiatus is going to get that 2-1 comeback and win game number 5, but to tell you the truth, it's anybody's game.
Well, will the real victor please stand up? We'll find out in a matter of a few minutes here. Game number 5 in this best of 5 is underway. Winner moves on to face Lucha Jim. Loser is eliminated.
All right, both of them do have their razor shield manipulations proper. TheRealZ3ro going to watch out for that nuke. Gruntiatus, the nuke, doesn't have to worry about it in that position. And it is going to be TheRealZ3ro with quite a significant hole shot, I must say.
Yeah, a couple seconds at least here.
High 39 for TheRealZ3ro, a mid 42, so about 2.5 seconds or so, a lead for TheRealZ3ro. We'll see how this plays out. Opening drop foot for TheRealZ3ro, so nothing to write home about. Spreader, definitely a better drop on Grunt's side. Then he gets the vitamin R, so the drop so far definitely favoring Gruntiatus. We'll see if that continues or if TheRealZ3ro gets an ore, but TheRealZ3ro continue to get garbage here and collect power-ups.
Well, you say that, and there is the orb for TheRealZ3ro.
Patience is a virtue. Then he gets a razor
shield.
Is he going to get the rocket to go? He does complete the Holy Trinity to close out the room. Unfortunately, one of the Mr. Shrapnels goes off. A 127 plays a 129. So Gruntiatus keeps a 2-second lead, but he is going to be fishing for an orb.
TheRealZ3ro with some fancy footwork to avoid also fishing for an orb here.
Yeah, for sure. Rockets for Grunt. That's going to help him keep the room under control. Keep the... Oh, a nuke on the feet there. That's going to be a little bit of a penalty there for Grunt.
Yeah, things going from bad to worse here. Meanwhile, TheRealZ3ro has the orb, has the razor shield, and is just, well, now had the razor shield, is using it on some of those shrapnels, and that's going to take care of the room. We're dead even here.
We are dead even indeed. Yeah, the nuke was a time penalty there for Grunt, and TheRealZ3ro had a better closure to the room, but TheRealZ3ro is going to get a double-digit lead unless Gruntiatus gets an orb soon. Rockets will help him stay afloat. TheRealZ3ro continue to have that orb. A key for Gruntiatus. That is not a good drop, but he still has plenty of rockets left. See if he can buy a better drop. But dude, where's my drops? TheRealZ3ro, though, really not getting anything to complement that orb, though. So Gruntiatus has been riding that rocket quite a while. Finally runs out. He needs to summon it, but it's another key. Razor shield for TheRealZ3ro. That's a huge drop. That'll enable him to keep control of the middle for the rest of this room.
Yeah, the keys completely irrelevant because there's no pleasure dome in Arena 1.
Another key for Gruntiatus, his third one of Total Carnage. It's a 311 for TheRealZ3ro going into the bonus room, and as I kind of alluded to, a fourth key. What? This has got to be some kind of record. A fifth key. What? A fifth key. He has already got half of the keys to go to the Pleasure Dome, Burgundy. A sixth one! A sixth key! A sixth one! Oh my God! I don't think I've ever seen that many keys in Total Carnage in my life, and Gruntiatus can only smile.
Yeah, just a cheeky bit of laughter here, as that is a bleep ton of keys.
Yeah, Gruntiatus getting... well, a commercial break. I don't. Twitch is like, let's just put you out of your misery.
Unflippin' believable.
Yeah, I hate to see a game 5 have that happen because, you know, Gruntiatus just he's had no orb in this game so far. He's been orbless so far in game number 5. We'll get him back as soon as we possibly can. TheRealZ3ro getting the goods here in Total Carnage, or Tank Trouble here. I beg your pardon. And we'll get him synced up in just a moment here as Gruntiatus took a death here in Tank Trouble. But TheRealZ3ro looking to be in good shape here with a 431. Finally an orb for Gruntiatus here.
But like the Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams tune from 1978, it might be too much, too little, too late.
Oh, definitely. And then he takes another death here. Right now, TheRealZ3ro in good position here to lock up game number 5 and advance to the next round. Does not get the ball buster, but has an opportunity to get that spreader. But was it too late? It was too late. So an opportunity lost there for TheRealZ3ro to really put the screws on this particular game, as Gruntiatus is still in Tank Trouble, finally done with it, but he is really going to need the drops to flow. But speaking of drops, that he's going to have to go around, and he may be blocked. He is
just missed out by a split second.
Yeah, alluding to another game show. Yeah, split second. You know, that's coming back. A 7th key. That's at least 7 keys for Gruntiatus.
Wow.
There's finally some lobbers for Gruntiatus. But I'll tell you what, you know, TheRealZ3ro has only got one arm popped off, and look at this. Oh, but is he going to be blocked? He's blocked. 4, 3, 2, 1. Same level 4.
Wow.
Boy, that is unfortunate there. Just when you thought Gruntiatus was about to get back into this game, that happened.
Hosiery of the finest form outside of Canada.
I mean, it's not over yet. You know, Gruntiatus is about a 4.5 back, and, you know, TheRealZ3ro has not exactly had a good Mutoid Man fight. Gruntiatus can still bring this back. They're now in the same form, Burgundy.
You gotta be beeping me. Okay,
he took the tally.
And there's an empty drop on top of it.
Yeah, he was going for the tally there, and I certainly didn't fault Gruntiatus for making that play, but he gets absolutely hosed. The spreader for TheRealZ3ro, and he gets... Mutoid Man is giving everybody the business here in game number 5.
Some personal fouls and then some.
Good spreader there, but and then he gets vibrated and loses out on it. Lobbers should get TheRealZ3ro to final form. It's Final form time now for TheRealZ3ro. Gruntiatus needs a spreader, and he needs it right now, and he doesn't get it. This is looking really good for TheRealZ3ro to lock up this. An 8th key for Gruntiatus, at least 8 keys.
Yeah, not like we've exactly kept count since the very beginning, but that's going to be something to watch back for. The might have opened the Pleasure Dome in Arena 1, something that I don't think we've ever seen, but TheRealZ3ro this is the victory here with a 727, and wow.
It wasn't pretty, but I said it before and I'll say it again, and Burgundy would agree, Brysolf would agree with me, Burgundy. Survive and advance. Not the most glamorous time in the world. That is just unbelievable. Gruntiatus goes from having a sub-6 in game number 1 to over an 8-minute time in game number 5. Just unbelievable what the RNG gods can do to you in Super Smash TV. That is the fickle mistress of this beast.
Well, I mean, when you're given 8 keys, at least. We didn't have an official count there, but we saw 8 keys picked up. I mean, that is just RNG absolutely given the stone cold salute there.
It most certainly did, but it doesn't take away the fact that this was a great match for sure. I mean, we saw everything. We saw sub-6s. We saw Mewtwo Man giving them the business. We saw keys up the wazoo. I mean, this is definitely an interesting and exciting match, to say the least, between these two runners. But it is going to be TheRealZ3ro moving on to the next round to take on Lucha Jim. And Gruntiatus, it is the end of the tournament for him. But if it's any consolation, he does become the 31st member of the Sub-6 Club. So congratulations to Gruntiatus, as well, of course, congratulations to TheRealZ3ro for being the 32nd member of the Sub-6 Clubs. Man, oh man, unbelievable stuff here tonight.